What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Constance Carter. You guys come on in. I see folks are already in here in the waiting room, waiting on this training tonight, which I'm super excited about getting started and sharing with you all. So, thank you guys for coming in. What's up? What's up? Listen, I want to just set the stage because this is a dialogue and not a monologue. The way I teach is I love interaction, I love engagement. So I want you to talk back to me. In fact, I think I could put your comments on the stage. So I want you to talk back to me. I want you to be able to ask questions. I'll be answering questions at the end. But I want you to be able to interact and engage with me. Okay. I really do like, I was going to just switch it to Zoom at the last minute so I can see your faces because I like to see everybody's face. However, I said, I'm just going to keep it right here and we'll just dialogue this way. I'm kind of used to doing it this way, but thank you guys for joining me. All you guys who have sacrificed, after work, or maybe you just getting off work, maybe you in the car, I don't know where you are, but you decided to take this time out and invest this time in yourself and to learn something new and to learn with me. And so for that, I am extremely grateful. So I just want to see where everybody's from. I already see folks chiming in and putting where they at on the stage or on the screen. So I see Sally is from Moncks Corner, South Carolina. That's where Charlamagne the God's from. I've never heard of Moncks Corner, South Carolina before until Charlamagne said he's from Moncks Corner. I never knew what that was. It sounds like a really, really small town. But what's up? What's up, everybody? What's up, Sandina? What's cracking like at everybody? I see you, Betty, from Compton, California. Sunshine from Detroit, Michigan. All right. So I want to give everybody a moment to get in here and get settled. Y'all, tell everybody that that we about to learn some things. And I really want to say the reason why I wanted to do this, tomorrow I'm getting ready to go out of the country, but I wanted to do this because I wanted to just provide some information for women who look like me, for Black women. Not that I'm anti anything else. All right. What's up? Desiree from Chi-Town, Angela from Atlanta. Not that I'm not anti anything else. And sometimes people think that I am anti anything else. I'm not anti nothing. I'm just pro-Black, and I'm pro seeing Black people do well. That's my passion. It's always been my passion, and I'm unapologetic about it. Just like other people, everybody wants to see their people win, right? Some people are more vocal about it. Some people do it in different ways. So when you have a power dynamic where you're able to help people, you don't necessarily got to say it, but you're able to do things to kind of help them along the way, whether it be giving them a job or giving them access and proximity to certain things. You want to see your people do well. I just happen to be vocal about it, and I get accused of a lot of things in my DMs. You guys should see my DMs be on fire. I get accused of being a race hustler, a race baiter. I get called the N-word at least once a week. But I feel like I'm not doing my job if I don't get, a harassing DM every now and then. So I don't have a problem with it at all. I get people talking about my looks and everything else. And, I was telling my daughter the other day, I was like, listen, in the household that I was raised in, can't nobody say nothing about me that I ain't already heard. So I have a real thick skin. My feelings don't get hurt easily at all. But I do this because I really want to help us. I don't know if you know that Black women, I know y'all know because you guys hear it all the time. Black women are the most educated demographic in the United States. And we've been that. Here's the thing though. For generations, we have been the backbone of everything. How many of you have been the backbone of everything? We raise children. Anybody got any kids? We raise children. We've held our families together. We build businesses. We are the epitome of the Proverbs 31 woman. We carry our communities on our backs, and it's not taking anything away from Black men, because here's the thing. In our community, we need everybody. It is a group effort. So this is not to exclude anybody, but this is really just to uphold, because I believe that Black women are the undergirder of our community. There's an African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. That's very real. So, what I believe for us, women in general, but specifically, I'm talking to Black women, if you give us a house, we'll make a home. If you give us some food, we'll make a meal. If you give us seed, we'll make a baby. We know how to make things, we know how to make things multiply. So, we do all of that. Our ancestors, it's in our DNA. Our ancestors was out there giving birth to babies and that morning and then going out in the fields that afternoon and working. And we just have always been accustomed to hard work. Black women, we have been the ones who've had to work harder, run faster, jump higher, and be excellence in action just to be considered average. And I want to celebrate us, but I also want to put us up on some game that's really going to help us, because we've been all those things to our community. Here's the truth, though. Even though we've been overworked and under-resourced, we were really told and sold the dream that if we just worked hard enough, everything will work out. How many of you guys worked hard? How many of us worked hard? We went to college, we got those degrees, we got those good jobs. If you're in the DMV, you got them GGJs, those good government jobs. And then what happened last year? 300,000 of us got laid off from work. 300,000 of us lost our jobs. It's a very real thing. We are the most educated. We're always the last one hired and the first one fired. So the reality is that a lot of us were not given the wealth blueprint, and that is the differentiator. So tonight, I really want to talk about what that blueprint really looks like. And it's not just about making money, because you guys got your good jobs and you're making six figures, but you're not building wealth. You're just making money, because those are two very, very, very different things. Let me tell you something that shocked me when I started studying wealthy people. Even though we are the most educated group in America, we're still behind when it comes to wealth. We're still at the bottom of the totem pole. And it's not because we don't work hard. If hard work created wealth, we would be at the top. We would be the richest people in America. We work harder than everybody. But wealth is not built through your labor. Let me say that one more time. Wealth is not built through your labor. Wealth is built through ownership. So I want you to put in the comments, wealth is not built through labor. It's built through ownership. It's built through assets. It's built through your businesses. It's built through investments. And we have to know the difference between how we earn money, because most of us earn money, but a lot of us don't create it. And so if we build systems and machines that helped us to generate wealth, because we can make a lot of money working, but we can never get wealthy. And that's one of the things that I tell my kids. Now, when you go to college, when you guys went to college, I didn't go to college. I got a PhD, a public high school diploma. But many of you went to college and you learned how to be a good employee. But did they teach you? And some colleges do, but did they teach you how to build your own? Did they teach you how to become an entrepreneur? Did they teach you the wealth systems that you need in order to sustain going beyond having just a job, just above broke? No, they taught you how to be a good worker and get them good benefits and stay in them jobs a long, long time. Now, these Gen Zers, they ain't staying in no job. Shoot, us Gen Xers, 2 years max, you had us, and we was moving on to the next. But that's what college teaches us. And I have nothing against college. All 4 of my kids in college, graduating, because I'm sending them to college for more than just the education. It's really about the network, because I understand your network is your net worth. But it's beyond that. We got to think bigger than that. So going to school, get a good job, work hard, save your money. Go to school, get a good job, work hard, save your money. That's what we were taught. But listen, there is a flaw in that system, right, Sandina? There is a flaw in that system, because wealth is not built through labor. Wealth is built through ownership. So if your income is tied directly to your time, your wealth there will always be a ceiling to your wealth because there's only so many hours in a day. Let me show you something. I don't know. Have you guys seen the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki? The cash flow quadrant. Let me see if I can find it in here. This right here. Have you guys ever seen this? Let me see if I can find it on my computer. So let me put it up beside me. Anybody ever seen the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki? This is the guy who wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. So our poor dad teaches us to work. This is what he talks about. Our poor dad teaches us to work for somebody else. Our rich dad teaches us to create things. So you have in this cash flow quadrant, you have on the left side people who are just, kind of working for money. And on the right side, those folks have money working for them. Now, let me explain it, okay? So if you look at the first quadrant, that's your employee. And that's what most of us are. You go to school, you get your good job, and you earn a paycheck. And again, y'all, there is nothing wrong with having a job. A job gives you stability. A job gives you money. You know what's coming in every day. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And if you're content with that, that is totally fine. But what happens if you lose that job? If you stop working, what happens? The money stops. You stop, the money stops. Okay? So there's that. Your income is tied directly to your time. And then even self-employed people, because a lot of us are self-employed. As a real estate professional, I was a self-employed person. There are a lot of attorneys that are self-employed. Some doctors are self-employed. They don't own the business. They are still working for themselves. They're independent contractors. Well, what happens with them? When you start working for yourself, maybe you start a business, maybe you freelance. It's your side hustle, but you have more control. That's a beautiful thing. That is a great thing. Nobody can tell you how many hours in the day you have to work. Nobody tells you that. But here's a challenge, even being self-employed. You are still the system. And a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in this bottleneck because they are still the system. And that's a real big problem because guess what? When you stop, the work stops. So it's a great place to start, but you're just creating a job for yourself instead of a business. So in order for you to get to the next level, you want to go over to the right. You want to be a business owner. Now, a business owner has systems and or people making money for them. So for me, I started out as a real estate agent. I'm self-employed. I'm working, and the more I work, the more money I made. I'm making money. I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I'm in my 20s, making good six figures, $200,000-$300,000 a year in my 20s. That's great. It's a great thing for somebody in their 20s. But guess what? If I got sick, that money stops. Well, then when I became a business owner, now I own the business. I have other people working for me. So now they're working, and guess who's making money? They're making money too, but I'm also making money. Plus I have systems in place that help me to make money. So also think about somebody who owns a salon with multiple hairstylists. When they were the stylists, they were doing all the heads. But now they're the owner. They don't have to do every head. The business, the people in there, that produces the income. Or think about somebody who owns rental properties. That generates revenue. Or somebody who has an online business. Or someone who has an online training. Imagine you have a system where, like I have with the Grow Your Money Club. I have an online system with my Grow Your Money Club where I teach you everything I know, every little skill set I know. I'm teaching it to people. So everything I know, I have it online. I monetize the things that I know. I monetize my genius. And my genius to me is like something easy, but it might be something pretty difficult to other people. Well, if I charge $97 per month and I have 100 people inside the Grow Your Money Club, how much money am I making per month? And that's just passive income while I'm asleep. I've already created the product. So now that's generating what? $9,700 per month if I have 100 people in there. Well, what if I'm charging $1,000 and I have 97, if I have 100 people in there, I get $100,000 per month. Well, what if I charge 10,000 per month? We see where that's going? I've already created the system one time. Multiple people can log on, and now I have a system that is creating money for me. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that when you get to this place of ownership, you need to do three things. You need to automate, eliminate, and delegate. And that's the place where you are a business owner, is if you can remove yourself from the bottleneck. I will say, as I'm developing different systems, as I'm developing them, I've become the bottleneck in some of those areas. Some of my businesses, because I have several business ventures, some of my business ventures are running smoothly on their own. But as I'm starting other businesses, as I'm building those businesses out, I become the bottleneck as I'm developing my systems. But once the systems are in place, smooth sailing after that. I was actually working today on something that is another business venture that I'm kind of dealing with the systems, because for me as a business owner, I need to know every aspect of that business before I can outsource it to someone else. So you want to make sure that you automate your systems. You want to eliminate the things that you don't need, and you want to delegate the things that you don't have to do to someone else. I have VAs, virtual assistants, who I pay a very nominal fee to do a lot of the things that could take off my plate, okay, as a business owner. And then finally, you have your investor. This is where you ultimately want to get, okay? This is when you use your money as the investor to make your money. These people invest in real estate, they invest in stock, they invest in businesses, they invest in income producing assets. Now your money is working way harder than you are, and that's ultimately where you want to be. Now, let me just share something with you. I moved to the East Coast 3 years ago. I often talk about this, but this is real time shit for me, right? So I built this great business. I built the largest Black-owned real estate company in California. Had this awesome business, amazing environment, great synergy. We did really good business, right? Built this really great synergistic business where we were transformational rather than transactional. I went through a very difficult divorce a few years ago, and I just up and moved away. Like, I just kind of put the business to the side, and I decided that I didn't want to really do anything. I just wanted to kind of just not do anything. And because I had all of these things, I invest in businesses, got a cannabis dispensary. I invest in real estate. I had some commercial property, some residential property. I have the real estate company. I have a mortgage company. I have books. I have online training. Because I have all of those income streams, those revenue streams, I was able to take time off. And if I wanted to today, I could still take time off. I was able to take a couple of years off and just not do nothing and decide what I wanted to do in the next chapter of my life. That's what that freedom does for you, is when you are an investor and you have money working for you. If you decide, or if something happens, because Ecclesiastes 11:2 says have 7, says invest in 7, no 8 revenue streams, because you never know when a disaster is going to strike. Now, a disaster struck in 2020 with COVID. For a lot of people, a lot of people lost their jobs, some people lost their lives. Some people lost their marriages. A lot of marriages. My marriage ended in 2020. That's another disaster. You could lose, you could go through a divorce. It's a disaster. If you don't have multiple revenue streams, where are you going to be? You could lose your job. That's a disaster. Do you have other things that are helping you to stay afloat if you lose your job? Most Americans don't have more than are living check to check, are one paycheck away from almost being homeless. Most people don't have a budget. Most people don't have a savings, let alone an investment. And the Bible says 8. And then the final disaster could be your disability. What if something happens to you and you can't work? You could become incapacitated in some way and you just simply can't function. What happens? And so that's the reason why this is so important, getting to that point, because so many of us have been in some type of disaster, and we have either been on the verge of losing everything, or we have lost everything. Some of us have been able to recover, but some of us haven't. And so you have to get prepared for something like this. Listen, Black women, we have mastered the employment quadrant. We have been leaders in our corporations. We have been the backbone of our organizations. Many of us have moved into the self-employment space. It's beautiful. We've moved into starting businesses. That's even better. We got side hustles. But the real transformation happens when you move into real business ownership and investing. That's where the real wealth begins. And for us in our community, we've historically, I'm a history buff, right? I'm a history buff. I like my history. I love my Black history, right? So I always talk about where we've been as Black people because we are resilient. We have resilience in our DNA, y'all. We have resilience in our DNA. Like I mentioned earlier, Black women, we would give birth in the morning and be out in the fields at night because that's just who we are. It was bred in us, but we're really strong people. And we built towns and we've mastered all of these things and we made all these inventions and we've done all of these really, really brilliant things. We have. And for some reason, we are hated. They hate us and they've done everything that they could to destroy us. But in spite of that, we've still overcome that. That's a beautiful thing. Think about the fact that we couldn't even buy homes until the last 50, 60 years. They had a 400-year head start. 70% of them are homeowners. 70% of them are homeowners. 44% of us are. In spite of, not because of. So when they did allow us to buy homes, what did they start doing? Giving us bad loans. And yet 44% of us are still homeowners, not because of, but in spite of. So we are resilient. It is in our DNA. This is what we do. Right now, what's going on with this administration? Everybody's panicking, as we should be. Shit is scary. We've never seen anything like this before globally of what's happening to America. We've never seen stuff like this happen to white people. Black people, we've been in disaster mode since the inception of this country, having to overcome things. So we're built for times such as these. I believe this time right now is an awakening that we have, an awakening for Black people to help us to get where we need to be. Y'all, and they said in the year 2053, Black median wealth was going to be a zero, and I don't believe that. I did a TED Talk a few years ago. It's called Google That Shit. Go watch it. Got 440,000 views. It's one of the best TED Talks I've seen. But I talk about ways that we can close the wealth gap because I don't believe that to be true. And that's the reason why I'm speaking to women tonight. Is because I believe that it's bigger than what we see right now. And I believe we are the perfect people in the perfect position at the perfect time to rise like Phoenix and rise from the ashes like phoenixes. I really believe this. This is why I'm having this conversation with y'all tonight. Like Sandina said, it is time to get it. You heard me. It's time to get it. So let me tell you something that's really important, because I want to motivate you, but I want you to be very realistic, because the goal is not for you to quit your job tomorrow. The goal is for you to really think strategically and use your job strategically. I want you to look at funding your assets. Okay. I want your job to fund your investments, your job to fund your businesses. I want your job to eventually fund all these things so that they can eventually replace your income. Because at some point, we need to be self-sufficient and independent. I don't know if you know, but we have $2 trillion of spending power in our community, Black people. $2 trillion. If we were a nation, we would be the 5th largest nation, larger than Brazil and Italy. The 5th largest nation with our spending power. And they say, oh, Black people just don't know how to spend. But I don't believe that. We buy necessities like everybody else. Yeah, we turn up just like everybody else, as we should enjoy life just like everybody else. But the reason why we don't spend in our own communities is simply because we don't have companies to spend with. Less than 3% of businesses in Black communities are Black owned. Did you know that? So when they say Black, our spending power, we only spend 6 hours in our community. Well, we ain't got no mother effing jobs or companies to spend with. So you blaming us for not spending with each other, but we don't have companies to spend with. When you go to Black communities, you're going to see a Jewish business, you're going to see a white business, you're going to see an Asian business, you're going to see an Arab business, you're going to see a Hispanic business. But if you go to a white community or a Hispanic community or Asian community or a Middle Eastern community, are you going to see a Black-owned business? No. They'll come to our communities, take our money, and have all the businesses and get rich off of us. But we're not doing the same thing in our community, let alone their community. So that's the reason why we're not spending with each other. That $2 trillion of spending power, that means we got money to spend. We just have to have jobs or companies to be able to spend with. So we got to start thinking like owners. We got to start thinking like investors and not just consumers. We're not just a consumption people. That is a myth and a lie that they've told on us. We don't do no worse than nobody else. They go always talk about us more than they talk about anybody else. That's why they talk about Black on Black crime. Not that we commit more crimes, but you commit crimes closer in proximity to the people you're around. If Black people are around Black people, they're going to commit crimes against Black people. Just like white people are going to commit crimes against white people. Asian people are going to, it's the same thing in every community, but they always exacerbate our community because they want to make us look bad. But the lies get dispelled right now. We're not believing the lies because the narrative is different. The reality is Black crime has decreased all throughout this country, but you don't hear about it. They're not talking about that. And that's the reason, I can get into that later, but that's the reason why they're building all these, that's the reason why they're deporting all these people, because they have privatized prison systems, that they have minimum occupancy guarantees, that that if they don't fill these prisons, then the states have to pay for these prisons' occupation. So crime is going down in Black communities. So where do you think what's going up? ICE. They have to detain these people. But I want to keep our eyes on the prize, because for years we've adopted those narratives. We've adopted those talking points that they said about us. We became lazy as soon as we stopped working for them. Now Black people are lazy and shiftless. We don't want to do nothing. We became thugs when they started putting drugs in our community and start murdering, when they decided to impoverish us and take jobs out of our communities and start flooding our communities with drugs. We've been a social experiment. But the lie stops today, because now we are waking up. Here's what this administration has taught me, and is teaching so many of us, that we are not what they say we are. And it's all lies coming from there. And they're not even hiding it anymore. They're giving us the playbook. Project 2025 was the playbook for Black folks. And we just have to wake up to see this. And so while I believe we're having a great awakening because we're understanding what's really going on. While the great awakening is happening right now, y'all, it's time to get information. It's time to take advantage of these opportunities. This is the reason why I'm talking to Black women today. Your biggest power is community. Here's one of the things that I think is a big mistake, is that we try to do things by ourselves. Why aren't you partnering up with people? Why aren't you creating joint venture partnerships? I teach a real estate training. Dr. Boyce and I teach I do a real estate training through the Black Business School with Dr. Boyce. And one of the things that, anybody could teach you how to flip a house. Anybody could teach you how to buy multi-units, procure multi-units. But I also teach how to create sustainable businesses, how to create joint partnerships, how to practice collective economics, because those are the things that are important. Because these big ideas could seem so cumbersome and so overwhelming if we're doing them alone. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go far, go together. But if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And the problem with us is that we work in silos. We want to do everything individually. We've adopted that capitalistic, that Eurocentric idea of this rugged, individualistic, capitalistic thinking. When Black people, we are communal by nature. We should be working together. We always talk about crabs in the barrel. I think crabs in the barrel is everywhere where you have a low socioeconomic people in low socioeconomic conditions because everybody's just trying to get it, right? I don't think that's necessarily a Black thing. I think it's when you are struggling and when you've been impoverished and you just trying to get there. Yeah, you're gonna try to get yours by any means necessary, but that is not innately who we are. And again, that is a lie. That's why we got to change the language and what we say about ourselves. We have to start going through things together. We got to start trying to do things together. We got to think community minded. And if we really understood how to obtain wealth, we understood the principles of wealth. That's your credit. How many of you know that your credit is paramount in order to build your wealth? Wealthy people don't. I just talked about Robert Kiyosaki and the cash flow quadrant. Wealthy people don't use their own money when they're building wealth. They use other people's money. If you look at the very rich, they always talk about, Donald Trump said, I don't pay taxes. I'm not because I'm a crook, because he is a crook, but I'm smart. Wealthy people, you are paying more in taxes than a lot of wealthy people. Warren Buffett said his secretary pays more in taxes than he does, because you have what's earned income and you have passive income. And most of us have earned income. And so we're paying the good share of the tax. We got to learn how to do things differently. We can't just be here's the thing about even with the big beautiful bill, right? The big beautiful bill is horribly, but we still have to understand how to play the game, because it's really set up for the billionaires and the corporations. If you had a business, then there are some of the things that you could take advantage of. But here's the thing. A lot of us don't have the blueprint. Nobody gave me the blueprint. I had to learn. I had to fail. I filed bankruptcy. I foreclosures. I was homeless. I had cars repossessed. So when people look at me now and they see some of the things that I've been able to accomplish, they think, oh, she must have an education. I don't. I invested in myself, and I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in myself, y'all, because I have a public high school diploma, PhD. I don't have a post-secondary education. I just invest in myself, hundreds of thousands of dollars, because I bet on me because I knew I was a sure thing. And over time, I had to learn that I needed to invest in myself so that I could build my business. Listen, in 2009, I filed bankruptcy. 2009, 379 credit score. In 2009. 2010, I opened up my business, Catalyst Real Estate Professionals, which went on to be the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. But that wasn't without hardship. Y'all, listen, I would have to sometimes decide on whether I was going to pay my mortgage or pay my lease space. It was very real times. And I was late on a mortgage. I was betting on me. I was betting on the business so that I could eventually sustain myself. I know a lot of people are like, nah. I know some people that was with me was like, I got to pay my mortgage. I got to take care of myself. Okay, well, they don't have the stomach for this like I do, because I believed in myself. I believed in what I was doing. I believed in the mission. And if you want it that bad, there's some sacrifice that you got to make. So I had to start from scratch. Y'all, when I first was in real estate, I would be driving people around my Ford Windstar minivan. Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. Door used to fly open. I was driving some clients one time. I made a left turn. I looked back there. The husband was trying to hold the door open and keep from falling out. These were my humble beginnings. And then to do that, and my heart was always to help people, but to do that and to be able to get where I am now. But sometimes in business, you will have famine season. You're going to have feast and famine. And you got to be okay with that, because you look at the bigger picture. And what's the bigger picture? I want better for my family. I want better for my children. I want better for my legacy. I had a why. And so I want to ask you all tonight, what is your why? Why is it why are you here? Why do you want better for yourself? Why do you want wealth? Why do you want the blueprint? That's my question to you. Because if you had a reason why, and for me, it was my kids. Even today, I work so hard to make sure that my kids got what they need. And if they don't got it, then we're going to figure it out. I have two kids in college. I pay two tuitions. I pay two rents for them. I got one getting ready to go to college. I got one that graduated from college. We got to do what we got to do, because this is why I do what I do. And I built this life so that I could be able to do what I want to do, and having that freedom to be able to do it. But that's my why. What is your why? What is your why? Adrena said legacy. Sunshine said tired of paycheck. She said what? Tired of paycheck to paycheck. Tired of one check being from homeless. Just tired of struggling. Yeah. So what's next? Jen said for my family. So what's next? How do you transfer your passion? It is your passion that drives you to do what you do. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Ron. My passion is helping people, to be honest with you. My passion is helping people. And even when I was in a corporate capacity and I was in IT, in real estate, and I worked at HP and I worked at Cisco Systems, and it was terrible having to get up, and I did this commute like every day. It was 2 hours each way. And the way I was able to justify it, because I was in IT, I was like, okay, well, if I'm just helping people, and I just that's what got me going. And I've always just loved to help people. And so you got to think about why is it that you want to be wealthy? Why do you want to have that freedom? I know for me, like tomorrow I'm going out of the country, to be able to just get up and do what I want to do. Now, as I was trying to get things wrapped up today and loose ends tied, I was like, well, sheesh, maybe it wasn't a great idea for me to go out this week. Just being a busy person. But being able to just decide last month, you know what, I'm going to go here. Next month, I'm going to go there. Having the liberty to be able to do it. And that's not a brag. It's not a flex. I just want to show you that it's possible. Okay. I was telling my daughter today, because I had a podcast with a good friend of mine last Monday, and her mom died. And her mom was one of my first mentors when I worked at HP. And her mom left her a lot of money, a lot of assets, left her well off, but did not leave her instructions. And I was like, ooh, for me, I'm doing the same thing, right? Leaving my kids, I got, all this money in insurances, and I have money in investments, and, here's my bank accounts. But I never had the conversation. And so today I had the conversation with my daughter. Hey, here's where all my things are. Here's what to do if this happens, if this happens. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. So not only do you want to do it for yourself because you're tired of struggle, you're tired of the paycheck to paycheck, but what do you want to leave for your children? And not just the money, but the mental. What are we teaching our kids? Because we all want our kids to be better off than we do, right? We want to give our kids the head start that we didn't have. We don't want them to be worse than us. So your why also should be, if you have children, what am I leaving to them? King P said, I'm currently a notary public. What are you doing? That's being a self-employment, right? Here's the thing, though. I think that if money only comes when you work and you have a job, I think that community is super critical to every aspect of what you do. Because remember when I talked about the African proverb, doing it together, going further together, building circles, collaborating. I think one of the biggest problems is people try to build wealth alone. It's like eating that elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But when the elephant is so big and it's so overwhelming, we just do nothing. Has anybody ever been in a situation where they've had so much to do and they've been so much overwhelmed that they just got stuck? I'm not doing that. That's what happens when we try to do ventures that we're not familiar with. We get stuck at start. We get stuck in analysis paralysis. We just don't do nothing, right? I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to ignore it. I'll just, you know what? I'll just be content with where I am right now because it's too hard. I don't want you to do the easy thing because growth comes in uncomfortable situations and places. So I want you to think outside the box, but I want you to know that you don't have to do it alone. You total shutdown, right, kid? You don't have to do it alone. Think about if you have, think about there being a world with Black women who are not struggling financially, because I'm talking to you, Black women, right? Imagine Black women owning entire neighborhoods. And fortunate for me, I live in a neighborhood that's 89% Black. And most of them, and probably 80% of the homes over here are $1 million plus. These are all Black people. It's possible. What about for you, being a Black woman owning an entire block, an entire neighborhood? Perhaps you buying blocks in areas and revitalizing them. You investing together, you building wealth together, you creating generational wealth. It is possible. That is a strategy. And I want you to think bigger, because the biggest mistake is that people are really trying to figure things out on their own. You don't have to do things alone. They try to figure things out on YouTube, and that's cool, because I encourage you to look at things. I encourage you to come on here and watch me when I try to teach you a concept or a strategy. Do that. But don't just be a hearer of the word. Be a doer of the word. Read those books. Try to piece information together. But building wealth is not just about education alone. It's about implementation. There's a saying that the idea is not doesn't belong to he who thinks it. It belongs to he who executes it. And you need to be around people who are building wealth also, because proximity and access, it matters. Access and proximity, it matters. So if you're around people, there's a saying that if you're around three broke people, guess what? You gonna be the fourth. One of my good my mentors, Dr. George Fraser, he said one time, if you around three hoes, you're gonna be the fourth hoe. It just is what it is. It's what we tell our kids. Birds of a feather flock together. So if you are around women that are doing great things, that are owning real estate, that are funding their businesses, that are investing together, that are creating generational wealth together, what would that look like for you? What would it look like if you were around other people? Because a lot of us are around people and we're just unicorns. How many of you are the only person in your circle that wants to do something different? You have nobody to talk to about it. You have no one to bounce things off of. It's just you trying to figure it out all alone. And a lot of people who are in a lot of my trainings, they want more. They just don't know how to get more, right? Miss Renee says not just about the money, it's about the mental. Because wealth is a holistic experience. It's not just about the money you make, it's every aspect of your life. That's why I get up in the morning and I go to the gym. Last year, I didn't go to the gym at all. 17 years, first year, I didn't go to the gym at all last year. And I had to get my life together. But wealth is not just about the money you make, because I can show you how to get the money, but are you going to be able to keep it? Are you going to be a good steward over it? Are you going to be able to give it? There's reciprocity that goes in there. There's mindset that goes in there. There's personal development that comes along with that wealth too. There's things that you got to do to prime your mind every single day so that you can be in tuned to being able to build. Here's what I know about most wealthy people. When I study wealthy people, they do 5 things in order to become successful. It's 5 steps, and I want you to write this down, okay? The first thing that they do is they have a vision for their success. And I want you to think about that. Think about what success looks like for you. What is it that you want to do? And this could be just losing weight, or it could be making $1 million, or it could be sitting on a beach, or it could be opening the door to your brand new home, or you could be speaking on stages across the world. All of those things are very real and very possible. But the first thing you have to do is have a vision. And if I could refer to the Bible says without a vision, what happens? People perish. So the first step, the first thing that you need to do before you do anything is you have to have a vision for it. So I want you to write that in the comments. Put vision. Put visualize. Somebody put in the comments, have a vision. Put in the comments so I can go to the next one. There we go, Zakia. You have a vision. Thank you, Lashana. The second thing you need to do is write down the vision. The Bible talks about writing down the vision, yes, and making it plain. So if you have a vision, writing it down in a clear and concise manner. So my goals are my vision, and I take them everywhere I go. So my goals are in the notes in my phone. So I have them with me. I ain't got to go home and look on my screen. I don't have to look at a vision board. And even if I had a vision board, I would take a picture of my goals and I would put them in my vision board. But I write down my goals. I have a journal. I have here it is right here. This journal right here, where I write down all that, right? It doesn't stop. The process doesn't stop. It's an evolution. So writing down the vision, a plainly written down vision, is paramount to your success. So the second thing you want to do is you want to write down the vision and make it plain. So Angela said, write your vision down. So the first thing you want to do is have a vision. The second thing you want to do is write down the vision and make it plain. There you go, Angela. Write your vision. The third thing you want to do is you want to speak it, because life and death are in the power of the tongue. So speak your vision. So when you wake up in the morning, you have affirmations. You want to speak your affirmations. You want to speak your vision like they're affirmations. Remember, the thing that comes from your tongue to the universe, it does something. Speak life, because your words are prophetic. The things you say will happen. Think about this. Biggie said, I'm ready to die. What happened? He died. Tupac talked about death. What happened to Tupac? He died. So understand, life and death are in the power of the tongue. So that vision that you visualize, you've written it down. I want you to say it every single day, because that's going to get you there. If you can visualize it, you can write it down, you can speak it every single day, you'll start to see some actions. But here's the thing. Here's the secret sauce. You want to know the secret sauce to that? You got to work it. Why? Because faith without works is dead. So you could have a vision. I know people whose vision's getting rich. I visualize I'm gonna win the lottery and get rich, but they never play. They say you can't win if you never play. I have a vision, but they ain't did nothing. Then they get to talking about it, but they ain't really did nothing. They've written it down, they talking, they visualized it. But if you don't work it, you have to embody it. Highly successful people embody whatever it is that they want, their goals. The reason why I was able to create this really great business is because I embodied it. I was the first one there in the morning, and I was the last one out. I had to work hard. My motto used to be, nobody works harder than Constance Carter. I don't want to work hard no more. That's not the goal. But I was setting the foundation. Now I'm 50 years old. Ain't nobody trying to work hard now. But I embodied that. I worked it. Faith without works is dead. You could have the faith all you want that all these things are going to come true. But if you don't work it, if you're not eating, sleeping, breathing, drinking, thinking, if you're not studying it, if you're not getting trained, if you're not getting mentored or coached, if you're not constantly getting poured into, y'all, I've been in so many conferences. When I moved to the DMV, I knew so many people here. This transition was not hard at all. It was actually a beautiful transition. I moved from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. No family. I have no family here, just me and my kids. I'm in rooms with dignitaries. I'm in rooms with all these people that I had no idea. I'll tell you what. I was at a conference in Ocean City a couple of years ago, and I was just sitting over there. And anybody that was there, they're like, because I'm really an introvert in real life. I talk online, but I'm really introvert. But I'm sitting in the corner and I'm looking out in the water, and I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I envisioned my life to be. Just last year or the year before that, 2 years before that moment, I was doing grand opening on two of my buildings, two of my businesses. And here I am, 3,000 miles away with all of these, with the governor of Maryland, with the county executives and all these business owners and these millionaires. And how did I get here? You know how? Because I studied. I was at conferences all over the country, not to be seen, but to learn. And as I learned, I networked and I got access and proximity to people just by being in the room. It's huge. How do you think I met Lisa Nichols and Les Brown? These people are all in my phone, and Dr. George Fraser and Dr. Boyce Watkins. And then think about the celebrities I know. That is because of the networking. And I wasn't doing it to get in the rooms with those people. I was doing it to fortify myself because I knew that I had a deficiency. What's my deficiency? I don't got a college education. I don't have these credentials behind me. My PhD is my public high school diploma. So it was that transcended my inabilities, my educational inabilities or deficiencies, I'll say. But me pouring in myself, me trying to learn as much as I do. I tell y'all what, I know a lot. And sometimes I wonder, well, how do you know this? And I tell you, this phone right here, I've had this phone probably since 2012 or whatever, but 2013 is when my first notes were in here. I have notes from all over the country, from trainings I've been to, from just all kinds of places and spaces that I've been to, just pouring into myself. It is so important. So that working, that is the fuel for the car to get you to the other side. You got to go above contentment. Some of you are comfortable where you are, and that's totally fine. And there is enough out there for everybody to have. There's enough abundance, especially if you live in this country. There is enough out there for everybody to have. You know, the thing is, everybody's not going to do what it takes to get it. Everybody's not going to put in the extra work. Very few people are. And those are the people that are going to get it. It's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. People had looked at me and said, oh, you do it. You got a real estate license. I'm gonna get a real estate license too. It seems easy. They weren't able to be successful, not because they couldn't, but they just didn't have it in them to do the work, to stay the course when you got hungry and the famine started, when you had to sacrifice. Am I going to pay my mortgage, or am I going to pay my office space? When you had to make those hard decisions. But the reward, that final fifth step, is receive it. So have a vision, write down the vision and make it plain, speak the vision, work it, and then you're going to receive it. That's the reaping, that's the harvest. That Bible verse that says, don't be weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap your harvest. And what goes that? If you faint not. Don't be weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap your harvest if you faint not. A lot of us are working. I'm gonna get there. You motivated at first. I'm gonna do it. God gave me this vision. I really want to do this. I really want to be successful. And then as you're working and working and you're not seeing a return, and you start thinking, well, maybe this is not for me. Maybe God didn't really tell me that. Well, maybe this is not really my goal or my vision or my dream. Maybe I should just get a 9 to 5 and work for somebody else. That scripture says, if you faint not. The book, The Alchemist, where that guy was working, he was digging for gold. Remember, he's at the gold mine, he's digging for gold, and he's right there by the gold. And then he stops digging and he goes the other way. He was right there at the breakthrough, but then he turns around and he goes away. He turns the other way. So many of us are there, especially when we're trying to start something new and it's just not going the way because that's what this ownership is. That's what this wealth journey is. It's not easy. That's what the success is. This is not easy to get there. For most of us that weren't born with a silver spoon, it's not an easy thing. But listen, it's worth it. My son said to me a few months ago, he said, Mom, did you ever picture our lives this way? I said, no. He said, did you picture our lives like this 5 years ago? I said, I didn't, not even 2 years ago, son. He said, but we're happy. We're happy. It's the working. Everything, the foundational things that I was able to do to set up this foundation to make sure they didn't miss a beat. I lost $1 million in 2022 when I went through the divorce, but my kids didn't lose anything. I made sure they were insulated. And it was because of those investments and the strategies and the multiple revenue streams. These are things that you need to do that set you up for wealth. Because what does the Bible say? Invest in 8 revenue streams, because we never know when a disaster is going to strike. Disaster can be a divorce, could be a disability, it could be a death, or it could be a departure from your job. Any of those things can happen. And then you stuck. So where are you? I want to know where you are in your journey. Because if you are just above broke with your job, you got to do something different. If you want the freedom to be able to live your life however you want to live, you got to do something different. If you want to live to where you're able to just get up and go out of the country tomorrow, you have to do something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. How many of you are tired of doing the same things over and over and over again, but you're expecting different results? But you keep doing the same thing. You don't want to stretch yourself. You don't want to grow yourself. You don't want to move out of your comfort zone. You just sort of want to keep doing the same thing over and over again because it's comfortable for you. And that's fine. They say the graveyard is the wealthiest place on earth because there's $1 million dreams there. And one of the things I always tell certain people, especially in my family, is that you don't want to end the end of your life with regrets. You don't want to go to the end of your life and say, damn, I wish I would have took a chance on me. I wish I would have done some things different. I wish I would have bet on me. It's the worst thing that you could do. Damn, I could have did this. I really had an opportunity and I didn't. It's the worst thing that you can do. And I'll tell y'all, just in investments, like I said, I've made some of the biggest mistakes. I filed for bankruptcy in 2009. 2010, I started Catalyst, which went on to become the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. I've had short sales and foreclosures and all of those things. And I had to learn the hard way, and I had to learn on my own. I did go to trainings, but a lot of the mistakes that I made before I went to the trainings, I wish I would have did the trainings before, because I'd be a lot further than I am now. But I had a lot of setbacks before I was able to make a come up. I had a lot of things. Thought I knew some things. Did some Googling. That I knew everything by myself. And yeah, King P, I do invest in the stock market. You have to have multiple revenue streams. So yeah, the stock market, I invest in businesses, I've invested in apps, I invest in real estate, commercial and residential, wherever I can make my money grow. The biggest investment though, you guys, what do you guys think the biggest investment I made in? What do you think the most money I've made, most money I've invested in, the most money I made? Yes, Zakia. The biggest investment I've made and the most money I've made is in me. How many of you guys are cannabis? I mean, it do I. I'm getting a little payout tomorrow. It do I. But yeah, it is. And how many of you being here tonight, and I'm proud of you for being here tonight. Honestly, I'm proud of everybody who invests in themselves. I had a coaching call with a lady today, and she's in one of my classes, my real estate class, and she's an older lady in Alabama. And I was just saying, listen, she was like, I'm a fish out of water, and sometimes I don't know these concepts, and I feel so dumb. And she's a nurse. I'm like, you're a nurse. You're not dumb. Like I couldn't go to your job and teach you how to do it. But I'm proud of you because you took a step to invest the time and the resources into getting better and to learning this stuff. So for you guys on this call, this is an investment. It's an investment in your time. So I'm proud of you guys for investing in your time. How much more are you investing in? So y'all, I wanted to come by tonight and just have a conversation with you about what we can do. And there's no better time such as this. This is like priming for the perfect time. I know I do videos about, what's going on politically and what's happened historically in this country, but I just think I think we needed this revolutionary moment for us as Black women, Black people, to pull ourselves together, to understand what's really happening. Because people have been quiet these last 50, 60 years, and they hadn't been saying what they really wanted to say. Not out in open, but behind closed doors. So now we see. They telling us, they saying it on CNN, live on CNN, especially on Fox News, what they think of your Black ass. The things that they are doing to prohibit or inhibit you from progressing. They're telling you, they're giving you the play. So now we cannot be blinded, but now we have to seize the opportunity. Let me explain something to you. The Asian community, they have the lowest voter turnout, but they are the most insulated because they have economic power. You do not have to worry about politics if you have economic power. Of course, we need to know, we need to be aware of what's going on in the government. We don't want to die. But when we have economic power as a community, we are more insulated from the volatility of what's going on in the administration and in the economy and in the world because we are insulated, because we have the economic power. We could work together. We could practice group economics. We got to start thinking like that. So, I thought this was the lady I talked to. Her name was Betty. Betty said, I'm working on my mobile tea business. I took money out my stock market to invest in my business. Good job. You're betting on yourself. So let me ask you a question. Has anybody betted on themselves over the last several months? Made any investments in themselves? Has anybody taken that risk like Betty and made an investment in themselves? I want to share your story, but I also want to congratulate you. Anybody else took some time to invest? Yes. Zakia, what did you do? What did you do? Stephanie, what did you do? Sophia, I want to know specifically what you did, not just a yes. What's up, LaShawn from the DMV? I'm in the DMV too. What did you do? Specifically, what did you do to invest in yourself? Renee, I paid for a one-on-one with Dr. Lene for my website, Built and Launched. Yes, Dr. Lene, that's my sis. By the way, if you guys want to come to our conference in Miami next month in April, and then we're going to take a cruise to the Bahamas with Dr. Lene, make sure you guys sign up. I invested in Coach K program. Coach K. Who's Coach K? Angela, yes. I enrolled in an Airbnb program to learn how to start my first Airbnb. Awesome. I started my tutoring business. Awesome. That is listen, y'all doing it. That is amazing. So it's for people just like you, because everything that we talked about tonight, the cash flow quadrant, the credit, the assets, the real estate, the business investments, the system, the community, none of this stuff is really complicated. And I'm glad that you guys are taking out the time to invest in yourself. Those things that you're doing now, how long did it take you to arrive at that place? Because that's different than what most of us were taught, right? And that's why so many of us who are hardworking, so many, especially Black women who are brilliant, they stay stuck financially, not because they don't have the intelligence, because listen, we are, our work ethic, our intelligence, unmatched. But a lot of us don't have the blueprint. And when I realized that, when I was in my transition 3 years ago, when I moved to the DMV, I asked myself a very important question. What would happen if Black people, Black women specifically, had the blueprint to the successes that I was able to have? What if you had the blueprint to real estate, to stock, to business investment, to speaking, all of these things that I've been able to successfully accomplish? And thank God, again, it's not a brag or a flex, it's reality. And it's a blessing, because if I could do it, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, I'm not the smartest person out there, but I've been able to successfully do it. What if you had the same wealth blueprint that I did? And when I realized that, I asked myself one important question. I prayed, I meditated, I affirmed, I did all of these things. And so I created what was called the Net 7 Collective. And the reason why I did that is because what I understand, like I said before, is the African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. That Forbes article that said in 2017 that said the Black median wealth was going to be a 0 in 2053. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they done fucked around and gave us the internet. They gave us AI. They gave us each other. We have more information than we ever had. And the truth is, for real, I don't want you just to be inspired and be riled up about the possibilities and say, this was a great conversation, I'm going to take some notes. I really want you to be a doer of the word. Anybody that sits with me, I don't want you just to be a hero. I want you to be a doer. I want you to be an executor. And the difference between people who build wealth and who don't is simple. They stop trying to figure everything out alone. So for those of you who said you signed up with Dr. Lene, and Sophia, you said you invested with Coach K, that's a beautiful thing. I want you to make those investments in yourself. That's exactly why I created the Net 7 Collective, because I understand that wealth is built in circles and not in isolation. It's built in circles and not in silos. Ooh, bars. But let me tell you what excites me the most. When I look at rooms like this, I don't see struggle. When I look at Black women, I see power. I see those of you who are educated and talented and hardworking. And I imagine what would happen if thousands of women like you understood your power and understood this blueprint to really to be able to build wealth. If we own property together, if we practice collective economics, if we funded and built businesses together, if we invested together, if we shared opportunities, if we cheered each other on, if we motivated and inspired each other, if we changed our communities together, if we changed our generations. That's the reason why I started Net 7 Collective. because I believe that the next chapter of Black women is not just for survival, because we've been scratching and surviving for too long. It's for ownership. And when I tell you that this community has been more than I could have ever imagined, it's been more than I could have ever thought. It's something that I sat down and dreamed and wrote in my journal about what I wanted to do. I couldn't really articulate it. I didn't know what it looked like. I was like, I just want to help Black women. I want to give them the blueprint. I want to help them to get where I am. And I want to do it in an environment that feels encouraging, that feels inspiring, that keeps them accountable, that keeps them motivated, and gives them the tools and strategies to be able to get there. That keeps them undergirded. No woman left behind. So I want to, if you are interested, I want to invite you to our community. I'm leaving town tomorrow, but I had a birthday special. It was 50% off, and I have not changed the website yet. So I said, you know what? Let me do a training and invite a few more people to join our community before I go ahead and put the price back to the normal pricing. But I just wanted to make this opportunity available to so many more people, because lives are literally being changed in real time. We have women from Black women from all walks of life, from all over the world. Women are getting up at 2:00 in the morning in other countries so that they can be on a call with us at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern, so that they can share into what we share into, so that they can build and be celebrated, so that they can learn some new concepts, so that they can be inspired. We have chefs, we have IT professionals, we have AI specialists, we have doctors and lawyers and judges and just Black women. The access and proximity you have just in that room alone, not just because of what they do or who they are, but it's what you do and who you are, and how you can not only get it from, but you can give to. And that's what the Net 7 Collective is about. It's not just a community it's not a community where I'm just teaching, because I am teaching. I'm giving concepts. I'm giving the game. I'm giving you the tools and the strategies. I'm making you a better speaker. You're going to be able to do what I do even better than me. Get on these platforms. You have opportunity to get on my platforms. All the things that I do, I teach, because I believe that there is space for you. And I believe that what God has for you, he has for you. That's why he put coaches in place, to be able to help people to maximize their genius. That's why Michael Jordan needed Phil Jackson. That's why Kobe Bryant needed Phil Jackson. They were already great, but they just needed somebody to help them win the championship. And that's what you need. You already great. You already have the brilliance inside of you. You just need somebody to help you pull it out. And that's what I do. I have coaches that I've had that have brought it out of me. I spent tons of money on coaches, $50,000 on coaches, $30,000 on coaches. But the return on investment, I built the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. I did a TED Talk that had over 400,000 views. I got best-selling books. I didn't even know how to do a best-selling book. I wrote a book, and I was like, I didn't know it became a bestseller. My latest Living Trust was a #1 release on Amazon just a couple of months ago. These are things that I actually showed the ladies how to do. We wrote a book in Net 7 called Unbreakable. 17 of the ladies in our group are authors now as a result of them going to this community, this cohort. And this is a lifetime community. So it used to be a 3-month cohort where every 3 months I would just cycle women in. And to be honest with you, last year when Trump was elected, I saw the writing on the wall. I see what we needed even before he started doing all this craziness. And I was like, you know what? I really want to make sure that these women are staying in, they're doing their thing, because it's a lot of information in 12 weeks. I'm teaching you strategies, but it's like drinking from a fire hose. And I need to make sure that these women are staying, doing what they're doing. They got to do. So I made Net 7 Collective as of last year a continuing community, so that you can continue to get fed. I teach you how to speak. I teach you how to bring your idea to life. I teach you credit. Right now we are in the financial piece of it. So we're learning all about financials and credit, the foundational stuff. Then you're going to learn how to build your own community. Then you're going to learn how to start your own business. Some of the ladies in there have increased their revenue over 68%. Some ladies have added new business arms to their already businesses. One of our members, Dee Dee, she's an attorney. I showed her how to add another arm to her business where she's gaining passive income and investing in real estate. Another lady wrote 8 books, created new communities. I mean, they're just doing some amazing things all over the world as a result of not just me, because they learn from me, but they take the time and invest in themselves. And I just make sure that they do what they say they're going to do. You here, you said you want to build wealth. You said you want to meet these goals. I'm going to make sure that you play full out. And if you're willing to do what's necessary, I'm going to make sure that I'm there to support and guide you along the way. And that's my job. And so when I talked about being at the end of your life and having regrets, I can truly, truly say that I could die today or tomorrow and I will die happy because I'm living my dream. Not just by all the things that I've done, accomplished, but just being able to pour into people, and specifically having a community of women that I could pour into and see the return on investment and sit in the front row and see all the great things that they're doing in the world. Oh my God, that is the hugest accomplishment that I could ever think of. So for those of you, if you are interested in just being a part of this community, I want to challenge you and I want to encourage you to go to my website. I'm going to put go to net7collective.com. I'm going to put it in the comments and sign up. You have 24 hours to make a decision before the price goes up. And let me just tell you, this is a $10,000 cohort. Right now it's $7,500 for the year of 2026. But right now it's $3,750. So it's half off, $3,750, or you could do 5 payments of $1,000 if you really want to get started today. I offer financing. So if you go to the website and you want to pay in full the $3,750, there is financing available. They'll do a soft pull for you so that you can they'll determine what if you're qualified and what your payment will be even before you decide that you want to do it. But this is your moment. And there's rarely a time where there's an opportunity where you could take advantage of something, especially with me in our community for a price like this. Because these women that have been in here, they paid double this. And they're not complaining. And the ROI, I can tell you, and if I had a testimonial, one of the ladies, I think it was Dee Dee, let me see if I have it in here. She said she had buyer's remorse as soon as she said yes. She was like, I was so scared. I was like, damn, what did I do? And she said it was one of the best decisions I ever made. She travels all over the place. She said, she's in Africa. She was in Africa. It's 2:00 in the morning. She's like, I can't miss it. It's so good. These women are just doing it. Let me see if I have a video in here. This is probably one of the old videos.
For about the past, 3 or 4 years, I've been praying for a business coach. Like, I never had a coach. I knew that a coach I read many times that all the most successful people have a coach. Coaches have coaches. And I wanted a coach that would help me understand money and business and entrepreneurship. That I know people always tell me, oh, you know a lot of things and you do a lot of things, but nobody was taking me by the hand and say, you know, this is important with your credit, and this is how you get stuff off your credit, and this is how you establish business credit, and this is how you build your brand. And here's a bunch of people that look just like we do that are doing all these different things. And take a look at these. Maybe you want to do something of them, maybe you don't. But every single person that we were exposed to showed us something different. And made us see yet another possibility. The fact that we have been exposed to just folks that are just banging, that are like really doing it, like no shit. They really, really doing it. And it's just been such an eye opener, like mind blown every time we got on. And then just getting to meet all of you women was such a bonus, because here again, I'm seeing all these faces on the screen and everybody is doing amazing things. Whether you are where you want to be or not, when we get on and we listen and people talk and share, I think, well, damn, that's what she's doing. That's what she's about. And that's what she knows. I'm just like mind blown yet again. Every single time. I'm telling you, I would move heaven and earth not to miss one of these sessions. I know they're recorded, but it's just something about being in the room where it happens, and being here live and being able to participate and interact. It's just been such a wonderful thing. And Constance, you definitely under-promised and over-delivered. Yeah. And I know you want us to talk about the rest of us, but you're the one who thought of this. You're the one who went out on a limb yourself and put this together and brought all of us together. And I am just so grateful. This has just been an amazing experience for me, to the point where I can't even explain it to people. I'm very methodical and very process oriented. I don't mind making a risk, but it's going to be a calculated risk.
I love Judy. I always tease her. I call her Judy with the big booty. Big booty Judy. But anyway, that's me, because, I'm always joking. But that's just who we are. So I do want you to know that if you decide to make a decision to join our community, you're going to work, but you're going to reap what you sow. Everything that you put out there, you're going to get back. I'm going to ask that you read the book. I have a book. I have assessments before you even start. I have strengths assessments. There's all kind of things. So this is not just some run of the mill. You have a curriculum. We have if you look on the website, if you go on the website, go to Net 7 Collective, you could see the curriculum that we're doing for the year. So this is not just, it's woo-woo in terms of the personal development, because the mindset is so important. It's critical. It's critical. In fact, last week, not this week, last week, I had an agenda, but sometimes we just have to have conversations, and we just talked about some of the lies that we've been told and that we told ourselves that have held us back, and to be able to get a breakthrough from just those conversations around people who look like you. It was a conversation that ended up talking about colorism. Like, some of the things that people told me was that I was too dark, and that I wasn't pretty enough, and that I wasn't good enough, and these are Black women conversations, and these are barriers that we've had, that we need to have these discussions, and we need to overcome them and know that we are beautiful and brilliant and bold and bodacious and all the cool and beautiful, brilliant things that we are. And so this is a space for that. Net 7 Collective is a space for that. And I am the keeper of the space. So my brilliance isn't the training is all good. Again, being able to learn from me and all the successes that I've had through my failures, that's wonderful. The secret sauce is the community, though. The secret sauce is the reciprocity. The secret sauce is everybody working together and inspiring and encouraging one another and loving on one another. That's the secret sauce. So I may not be an expert in everything. I don't know everything, and I don't profess to know everything. I know what I know damn good. And you're going to know that. You know that by hearing me talk. I'm very confident in what I do know, but I know there are some things that I don't know, and I'm okay with that. And so the things that other people know, I encourage them. Share, because we are not gatekeepers, because we want everybody to win, because we know that what God has for us is for us. So I just want more like-minded Black women like you. And if you feel led, if it is on your heart to join us, then you can join us at any time during the year. But just within the next 24 hours, you'll be able to join us for half the price. This is my birthday special. This is the end of my birthday special. It's 50% off, because I just turned 50. And I just want to get as many people, and especially in this political climate where we see all these things that are happening, and we just need to get the right training, be around the right people in the right communities that are going to undergird us with the things that we need so that we can succeed. And so that's what Net 7 Collective is about. I built something that went beyond my wildest dreams. It's beyond my wildest dreams. I dreamed this. This is what I wanted. And to see it come to fruition and see these beautiful women who are doing some amazing things in the world is everything. So if you are interested, like I said, go on the website, read all about it. We had a great retreat last year. We're going to do another retreat. I don't have a video in here from the retreat, but we had a great retreat last year where we got together, and it was just really beautiful. Let me see do I have it? Let me see if I could. It'll probably be too much to try to find it, but let me see. Just so you can kind of get a glimpse of the women and who we are. Let me see if I can find. But again, if you feel led, and I'm going to open up the floor while I look for this video. I'm going to open up the floor. If you have questions, if you have any questions on anything that I said, if you have questions about Net 7, I want to give you an opportunity to ask them. If you want to come on live here with me and ask a question live, you're more than welcome to. Or if you just want to ask a question about, let me give you the link. If you want to come in here live and talk to me, I would love for you to come in here and talk to me. But if you have questions about what this looks like, or you really want to see what your next is going to be, I don't know if it's in here. Let me see. And you need help and you need support, I'm here. So while I'm looking for that video, I don't know if it's in here real quick. Thank you for hanging on here with me. And if you have questions about anything on the webpage, if you are trying to get signed up, oh, here we go. Here he is right here. This is a really quick video. Hold on. Let me just show you real quick. Let me share the screen. We had a retreat. It was actually just kind of an anniversary, like a 2-year anniversary, where we just kind of got together in DC. Everybody came out here and we had such an activity, but this is just a small portion of it.
What makes me love you, honestly, is that you could be doing anything else, but God spoke to you. You have the biggest heart to help other women.
So, Naomi, these are all your roots. Yes. Where you go, we'll follow you.
I'm seeing what you guys are doing in the world, and I'm so extremely proud. You guys, we have formed a sisterhood. Net 7 is because of you all. It's because you all made it what it is. And so I just wanted to tell you, I love you, and I'm grateful for you being in my life. You guys are everything that I needed. I need every single one of you. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I love all of you.
We just can't stop with just this week.
Right.
We just got to bring other sisters into the fold.
You guys are the proof of God's existence. You're the proof of God's manifestation in prayer. Because this is what I prayed for. This is what I fasted for. And that's who we are, just Black women who are coming together, who want the best for ourselves and our family. And not only are we a community, not only are Black women who are on the move, but we're a family. So if you are interested, go to net7collective.com. And once you sign up, you'll have a one-on-one with me, and we'll talk about your goals, and we'll kind of, see what's next for you. And we'll put you up to speed with where the rest of us are. But I would love for you all, as many people as possible, if you feel it on your heart, I want you to be a part of what it is that we're doing. So net7collective.com, take a look at it. And if it's something on your heart, join us. So now I don't see any questions. Oh, what training does Net 7 Collective include? So if you go to the website, let's go to the website. Let's see. If you go to Net 7 Collective, let me share my screen. Thank you for asking. Don't mind if I do. So this is the curriculum. And it's a loose curriculum in that, here's our page, in that it's not in any particular order, but this is what you're learning this year. Okay. So this quarter, we're on the financial and credit strategy. So we're learning personal credit, business credit, credit profiles, funding strategies, entrepreneurship and business development, structuring your business, how to fund the business, creating scalable business strategies, side hustles, entrepreneurship, turning your skills into experience, into income. Then we're going to talk about branding, building your branding with clarity, being able to articulate your unique value proposition, a message that really helps you to connect with your audience and not just a general message. So like just how I'm speaking to you, because I understand who my audience is. I understand who my avatar is. You doing the same thing with others, right? With your audience. I show you how to do that. Show you how to invest in real estate. Show you how to invest in stock. Show you how to other investment opportunities that are going to grow your money, that's going to generate compound interest, how to build your community, your unique community. What does that look like? Do you want to have a same community? Do you want to duplicate it? Do you want to do something similar? We also have Net 7 Nation, where there's an opportunity for you to become a chapter leader in different areas. So that's an opportunity for you to be able to pour into other people, just have it within in the Net 7 community. You're going to learn how to do podcasting. You're going to learn how to speak. You're going to learn how to do a TED Talk, all of those things. Speak in a TED Talk style. You're going to learn all types of digital and AI components, how to leverage, how to utilize AI, how to write your book and your intellectual property. I mean, just the amount, it's so robust, and we're covering all of this stuff this year, but these are the things that you learn. Plus you get access to our Grow Your Money Club, which has dozens, maybe 35, 38 trainings inside that just will keep you going. So all types of training. And then you get assigned an accountability partner. So you not only have access to me, but you have access to the other women. We have private groups. And so that's what the training includes. So it's getting you ready for your 7 figures. And, a lot of us, especially Black people, especially Black women, our net worth is actually negative. It's a negative number. So it's, we have more liabilities than we have assets. So my goal is to get you to where you're positive, right? Getting you to 0 is positive, but then turning that around and getting us to a 7-figure net worth. That's what assets. Your income from your job is not going to get you there alone, but you have to have other revenue streams that are going to get you there to where you can live your life in purpose and on purpose. Okay. So thank you for that question. That was a great question. We still do have local chapters. That will be Net 7 Nation. And so Net 7 Nation, you go to net7nation.com. You are still a part of the community, which is great. It's just not working directly with me, but you'll be with the chapter leaders. And those are people who I've trained specifically to be able to lead those chapters. So you go to net7nation.com. Let me put that link in here too, net7nation.com. So yes, we do still have chapter leaders. Chapters. Let me see. Any other questions? But you're welcome to be a part of any of, just the Net 7 family. The Net 7 Collective is more of the inner circle. We meet every week. Net 7 Nation is a monthly meeting. And those are, with the local, the ladies in the local chapter. But we meet every week without fail. So for me, it's like a midday re-up. When I meet with them, they like kind of fill me and help me to get going for the rest of the week. So it's been great. It's been beautiful. Any other questions before I let you guys get out of here? Has this been awesome? Have you learned something new? Hopefully you've learned something new. And hopefully, I pray that I will see some of you guys being a part of our community going forward. And then, listen, when you join the community, it's time to get to work. All right, Tasha Carter. All right, everybody. I appreciate you. I'll see you on the other side. No, the membership is one time, lifetime. I'm sorry for not explaining that. The membership is one time, lifetime for Net 7 Collective. Net 7 Nation is a monthly payment or an annual payment. So this $37.50 that you're going to pay, it is a one-time payment. This is a $10,000 program and is a one-time payment for $37.50. Okay. You don't have to re-up every year. Okay. So once you're in, you are in Net 7 community for life. You got to get jumped out like in a gang. So no, it's for life. Yeah. All right. All right, y'all. I'm going out of the country tomorrow, but I hope to see you guys. Hope to see some of y'all when I get back. Part of Net 7. All right. Peace out.